I am the call of the Cailleach, the hag of Bera. You can hear me in the howl of the wind. You can find me in the salt of the sea. You can feel my presence in the sound of the dry leaves being crushed beneath your feet. You can feel my essence in the chill of the air that reddens your cheeks. My messengers are Owl, who embodies my keen sight to be able to navigate the dark spaces, the liminal places in between, to glean the magic, the potency that's held within that space of darkness, to tap the seed of potentiality and to see it grow in its germinating phase, even as nothing seems to be occurring above ground. I know the secret places where transformation is found instantaneously. I have single-sighted vision, keen and quick like the silver mackerel. I have gazed into the void. My eye is the shining jewel to be plucked from that resting place. And if you seek a vision of your future, I can give you the gift of prophecy. I will awaken your oracular powers. But in order to gain these magics, you must enter through the initiatory gateway. It calls you to dive deep into your roots. It calls you into the stillness. It calls you to make peace with your spirit and the spirit realm. It calls you to the other world, to mend what is ready to be redeemed. I will help you harmonize your ancestral connections so they will fortify you. I will teach you the wisdom by lending you my staff that with one tap can freeze the ground you stand upon, the worth, the value of being right where you are in this point of observational stillness, where nothing seems to be happening, but so much is stirring, so much that you will see when I hand the staff over to breed at Imbolc, and you see the fire that is born from this moment of gestation. You lost something. You didn't understand its value, but you do now. I know what it's like to stare at the sea, waiting for the sun that was promised, only to see nothing but a great expanse of darkness. I can show you how to find the light. I can show you that your wound is your gift. I can show you that the loss was necessary in order for you to gain. Sometimes the greatest beauty is found in what is deemed ugly. Sometimes it's the only way that we actually discover what beauty truly is. I will grieve with you. I will sit with you in that darkness, and I will shriek with you like the she banshee, and I will show you the potency, the creativity that is held within this moment, even as it seems that everything is withering on the vine. Like Sheila Nagig, I will pull back my labia and reveal the ripeness, the creative power of what is coming to a close, because it's actually the seed of the beginning from which all things are born. So don't look for me in a book. Look for me in the change of the seasons. Look for me in the turning of the tide. Look for me in the place of darkness. And you too will gain the single sight of the one eye that was able to pluck a jewel out of the darkness. I wanted to bring in a message from the Cailleach. They are a powerful, singular energy found through many different expressions within the Gaelic tradition, origins in Ireland, but also in Scotland as well. It is the crone aspect, and we are very much moving through crone territory. And the crone is at the forefront during Samhain or Halloween. And of course, we continue to move into this energy, this liminal space with Dias de los Muertos on the 1st that really comes to a culmination point on November 2nd. And it's a very ripe time as we are moving up to that full moon in Taurus. And it is a rebirthing portal, but there is something coming through here about a need to remedy a certain spiritual malady. It feels like it's something that can only be made right with spirit. It's not something that can be remedied through another. This is something that must be quested for in the underworld, in the darkness, maybe through encountering one's fear as well. That the fear is the gateway to the wish, what one desires. It's been an inhibiting force up to this point. And so I want to get some messages about this. I want to open up with the glow-in-the-dark tarot. Keep it simple, keep it clean. The wish, bottom of the deck. This is about some kind of wish. Something you feel slipped out of your hands. Something that was lost to the turning of a season. Maybe you weren't able to master the seasons in time. The chill has set upon the land. It feels like an ice age. Isa, the rune Isa, stand still. There's wisdom in standing still. There's wisdom in the retreat. There's wisdom in the silence here. Very soon, the moment will be ripe. This is a pregnant pause. The mother's belly swells. That's what I just heard. And I have sentience around this very strongly. The mother's belly swells. It grows as we speak. Something new is about to be born. Something new is about to be born before its time. You think it's delayed. It's actually before its time. There's something here about the malleability of time and not really recognizing that something is about to be born before its time because there's something that needs to be remedied spiritually. So let's see what this is. Let's see what this is. Judgment. Judgment. Maybe even for 3. 3 are released. This message has been coming in quite frequently. And we look here and there's 3 in the distance as well. So it's almost like calling parts of you back from the distance. This is some great expanse of distance. It could be physical, but it's also giving me the impression that it is metaphorical. There's some divide. It has something to do, though, with the essence of oneself that needs to be called back. But there's others attached to this. 3 will be freed from the crossroads. Let me see what this is. Sagittarian energy. Owl is one of her messengers. There could be a Sagittarian messenger coming in relation to this. There's been some kind of injury here. There's been some kind of loss. The chill is setting in. And this is fascinating too, about the leg here, the impediment. Those born with the mark of the Cailleach, they can be born with an issue with the leg, with one leg. And this makes it challenging for them to walk. In fact, they don't tend to walk before the age of 2. So there can be issues with the limbs here. But this is an interesting energy to me in the way it kind of transfers to other traditions. Legba also wards over the crossroads in Yoruba tradition. And Legba has a limp as well. So this is very common in many different traditions, that there's often some kind of like physical malady that's taken on, and sometimes it can follow you throughout your bloodline as well. You know, it can be something that's multi-generational. This can be a bit of a pox on a bloodline. It can be a spiritual matter, but this is something that can be transferred, and it's something that can still be connected from a previous incarnation that you're carrying forward. It's something that links you to the energy, and sometimes it takes a physical manifestation. So this can be like having a limp, having an issue with one leg, but it's also like indicative of being in this holding pattern, this place of having one foot in the past and one foot stepping forward, and yet there's this need for standstill for a moment, to sit within the space of loss, deep loss. Even injury is a place of great potency at the same time, because within the seed of great loss is the potential of unimaginable gain. and maybe through different means than you suspect at this time. So there's been something lost here. Loss of the promise that was hoped for. Tell me about this loss. This loss, this injury. There's two here. There's two that have suffered some kind of loss, some kind of injury. There's two here. They carry their sorrows forward with them. King of Cups, bottom of the deck, Ten of Pentacles, Three of Swords. There's been heartache here. The treasure was lost. The treasure was not in material acquisition. The treasure was in the heart. There may have been some kind of loss of material acquisition, though, to make one aware of this. The Cailleach is loaning you this staff. You should use it to embrace the power of stillness. There's something that needs to be discerned here. Something needs to be balanced with spirit. What is this that needs to be balanced with spirit? There's some work to do here. There's some work to do here to bring about justice, to bring about a rightful balance. You're being forged in the fire here. But once you're forged in the fire, you'll have what you need to move forward swiftly. And you'll only be carrying forward this sword here, this sword of truth, this sword of discernment. Makes matters very clear. You won't be carrying forward all of these troubles with you. I see there's two here, but see there are three. Look. Currently, you're using your power in such a way that it's bringing troubles forward for three. That's what I see. And there's some need for stillness, not to take a certain action, so you can arrive at the truth that frees you from this. Give me more details about this, Cailleach. This will resolve your malady. It will turn the wheel of fortune. It brings a transformation. It will change your fortune as well. You're not meant to move forward this way. But there's something about the vehicle that needs to be addressed. Queen of Pentacles, bottom of the deck, basis of the matter. What of this Queen of Pentacles? What of this Queen of Pentacles? Virgo energy strongly came in crossing. Look, with the staff right there. Virgo. South Node matter. The work to be done. You have to go deep to light up what's been hiding out in the underworld there. This is about reintegration. This is about some deep healing. This is about calling back parts of yourself. This is about resolving traumas, ancestral traumas, familial traumas. traumas that have been hiding as tricky influences within the darkness that you fear to look into. And it's necessary, because once you look into the darkness and you face this and you call those parts of you back, then you have the light you need to move forward in your truth. You can be in your heart and not be in this place of feeling so reactive. It can be safe to be in the heart space here. And there's something that can be reclaimed. What is this? Yes. The power will build. The power will wax. The power will move you, free you from your holding pattern. It's also the arrows of love. Strong Virgo energy. We have Taurus out here. Strong Sagittarius. Sagittarius has been all over this. Aquarius, Leo. We also have Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Interesting. Yes, it's not time to move forward with something. We have Knight of Cups in the reverse. It is not time to move forward with something. There's something you need to see. Look, bottom of the deck, Judgment. There's something you need to see first. The invitation is to dive deep. You need to go into a time of rest, integration, healing. There's something you need to recover here. To go forward now is to spill the cup. There's a missing piece. There's something you need to understand here. And it's not something that can be made right on a surface level. It is a spiritual matter. So there's a need to work with spirit to heal this. What needs to be healed here? It could be some spiritual work that was done, is possible. Or it could be some spiritual work that was taken on that's creating the imbalance, and so something needs to be remedied here. 9 of Pentacles coming in with the Page of Swords. This is about retrieving the treasure. I see it very clearly. There's been some kind of growth that's been halted. There's been some kind of loss. Somebody feels that they lost a treasure. They want to find a point of redemption. But however they're moving forward, and it looks like there's 3 connected to this, they're using their power in such a way that it's going to bring the sorrows forward with them. In other words, it will be a repetitive cycle, and the cup will be spilled. The cup will be spilled again. And it almost feels like this is a bit of a repeat cycle, something that keeps happening over and over and over and over again, because there's a particular riddle here that hasn't been resolved. And once the riddle is resolved, then there is this freedom that truth brings. It brings about a transformation of what's been tripping you up. So it feels like you're looking for something and you keep searching for it, and you keep finding the same experience over and over and over again, even though it looks like, oh, I got it, I've struck gold. It ends up being fool's gold. You end up feeling like you got duped, or somebody was very crafty with you. But the sabotaging influence is not coming from outside. It's actually a spiritual matter, and it goes really deep. And so this can also be the need for some kind of spiritual healing, integration, soul retrieval, or calling back your empowerment from a time when maybe you lost it, and rectifying this imbalance that finally gets your ships to harbor here. It's like almost like being washed out at sea, not being able to find a port. Okay, give me some more details about this. One more round of this, and then I think I'm going to pull out the occult tarot to get some more details here. There is a way through, but you see, you don't hold the reins with this. There is a riddle here to resolve. There is some bit of guidance that can only be retrieved from the mystery. So it is like a call to journey. It's a call to dive into the underworld, to rest, to stay still, to look at what you've been hiding from yourself that you know is there, but maybe you've been keeping yourself busy, or maybe others have been trying to guide you in such a way that is only leading to more losses, or leading to more sorrows, leading to more troubles, because they cannot resolve this. This is something that is a spiritual matter. Only you can resolve it. You don't hold the reins to the chariot. This is directed by a higher force. And there is secret knowledge you need to obtain here, but it's in your roots. It's through making something subconscious conscious. And there is something trying to get your attention here. I feel that, or will be soon, that will give you the vehicle you need to move forward. Cancerian energy coming in here. Jupiter in the house of Cancer will bring blessing with this. It will. But first, there needs to be something resolved. This is something that can be almost like a soul koan. You know, it's like a personal riddle. And it's something only you can resolve by diving really deep into yourself. And when you're going on that kind of a dive into the underworld, really the underworld is just within you. It's something that's always with you, this ability to dive deep into your roots, into that place of darkness and rest, where you await the point of rebirth. And that can be a space when you're in the darkness, where you're with your fears or with all the unknown elements. It can be something that can be experienced as frightening, because you've been conditioned to feel that there is something to be feared in looking at what was swept under the rug. And this can be learned behavior that can be passed on generationally through the family. And yet it's through you actually resting with these things that you have been not willing to look at, that you will find your source of empowerment. It's actually an ally energy. Let me do a cut the deck here and see what we got. This is actually going pretty deep. See, there's two other staffs here, but they're being left behind, and to open up the road and the waterway, and to find the way to that distant shore where the sun does shine. There's a need to leave behind the complication of other forces that you've aligned with that are actually hindering you, holding you back. It could be power that you've been holding for two others that need to learn how to hold it for themselves. And this can be a learned behavior, the way this is coming through. There's healing here. This is actually preparing to dive into the waterway and go through that transformation. There's some deep emotional healing work you are doing here. If you willingly enter this, if you are willing to just hold up for a minute and not act rashly, and if you can sit with what feels really uncomfortable, you're going to experience the renewal and some kind of wish fulfillment that will arrive with the Ring of Fire in Aquarius on the 17th of February, 2026. You'll see the completion of this process. You might be entering into a really deep healing process. This could be a therapeutic process. This could be a cathartic process. This could even be diving into something that is a bit of, I don't know why I'm hearing this, but it's coming through. It's like a creative masterpiece. Like there's something so powerful that's born from you not moving forward at this time in a way that maybe you've been strategizing with others or planning with others. There looks like there's something that is getting attached to another because of two others that they are connected to, who need to learn how to hold their power for themselves. And yet there's only something that's understood in the space of stillness here. I know there's a way forward. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to pull out the occult tarot on this because there could be some spiritual work that's involved in this situation. This could be some spiritual work that was set in motion or something you wanted to call in. 3330 on the clock when I brought that in. This is a key, okay? So there could be something that maybe didn't quite play out as anticipated. The way that something was set in motion on a spiritual level maybe is having a quite unanticipated culmination point as it's entering the maturation of the crown. King of Wands, bottom of the deck, reveals knowledge of forthcoming battles and procures the favor of lords and kings. So yes, King of Swords energy. That can be Virgoan energy, that decisiveness that comes in with Virgo. The clear-cutted discernment, the ability to be very logical about something. You may already sense, and we have to remember Virgo is at the South Node right now, so it can be a collective energy. We may feel the rumble of steeds on their way to stir up some kind of battle. And yet that may be something that we're calling in through our focus or the way we're using our power. It's kind of how it's coming through. So it's like you feel some kind of impending battle, and because of this, there can be a desire to put a strategy in play really quickly to ward that off or to gain the upper hand or to take the field, so to speak. And actually, it's the thing that ends up just restarting the cycle all over again. So there's something that needs to be seen here. Clearly, yes, it's the trickster on the scene. Ace of Pentacles. If you can see through the way that you're tricking yourself and you keep finding yourself on this continual loop, you'll get a true Ace of Pentacles here. It will give you all worldly power and treasures, and it will make you rich quickly. But see, in order to gain this magic, you have to face off with the trickster. And when you're working with trickster medicine, that's tricksy territory. And certainly when we're looking at the Cailleach, they are an energy like that. And I say they because they come in many different forms, in many different guises, and it is also that archetypal energy of the crone or the hag or the old feeble one who actually holds so much power. And this can be something too. There can be a misjudgment in a situation. Oh, I could see that. I could see this as 3 feeling that maybe 2 are weak, or there could be a perspective maybe that the hermit is weakened. I could see that too. Because when we look at the hermit, we look at somebody who walks alone, right? But in them walking alone and being to themselves, they actually hold a lot of power. It's just they're not focused outwardly. They're not even focused on what's going on up there anyway right now. It looks like they're more looking at the roots of a situation, the roots of the matter. They understand they need to look here. They need to look at the roots in order to be able to grow something that endures here. But they could be viewed as weak by 2 that are currently injured, maybe not understanding how did this happen. But there's something they need to understand about the stance of the hermit here and what this wise one is trying to light up. So this can be like the hermit can be a figure who is somebody that is like that wild, feral seer that's on the other side of the hedge, that really is that demarcation line between civilized life and when you move into more feral, wild territory. They may seem that there's somebody eccentric, or they may seem like they're a loner or isolated in some way. And so they may look like an easy mark. And actually, that's sort of what I'm picking up here. That's the secret. They're not an easy mark. They're not an easy mark. They actually have a certain illumination and ability to see into the roots of something. And so maybe others are not understanding, why is this person so still? And so they're trying to figure out how to disrupt that stillness so they can get the answers they seek. And yet they don't understand that in order for them to retrieve the power they need to free themselves from this cycle, they need to do the same. They need to take up their power, and they need to look into those dark places that they most fear to look at. And then they will understand perhaps why this one stands alone and does not endure any kind of injury. There could be a little bit of a battle of wizards here. I could see this, but this is absolutely the trickster's territory here. I do see there is some mojo to gain, though. If you can see the way that you've been sort of running in circles here, that's how it's coming through. It will actually give you some kind of treasure quite quickly here. Tangible. You'll put it right in your hand. And maybe you need this Ace of Pentacles to pay a particular toll to get you over the bridge of a troll that's holding you back. Interesting. Oh, let's check this out. Okay, let's get some more details here. Tell me about this Ace of Pentacles. And perhaps it's that pentacle that was lost, and that's why there's no ability to cross over the bridge. But again, you could always dive right in, right? You could dive right into the depths and you could find that sunken treasure. You don't necessarily need to take the bridge, do you? Page of Wands crossing over the Chariot here. Gives answers concerning past, present, and future. Can make one invisible. Comes in with the bear energy. Bear is Virgo. Bear is Virgo on the medicine wheel. But this is some kind of communication coming in, perhaps from another, about this matter, trying to navigate. How can we sort of find our way through here? How can we get the answers we need concerning the past, the present, and the future? And how can we do this in such a way where we can be a little bit crafty, where we can do this subterraneanly too? So this is a little bit of that mole energy coming through. They want to be invisible. They don't want to be found poking around in certain places, spaces. Page of Wands, Sagittarian energy, and it is coming in with Virgo. So there could be a connection there. Also, somebody's wanting to gain insight into somebody's spiritual work. How do you do what you do? That's what I'm really feeling about that when I look at that 9th house of Sagittarius. It's about spiritual matters. It's about wanting to take up more territory. It's about wanting to move into that expansion through having that knowledge, and also being a bit daring, as the Page of Swords can be quite daring, to do what one needs to do to get access to that information. Yes, how do you work your magic? How are you doing what you're doing? Because normally I can find a way through, but I keep feeling like I'm shut out here. I'm out in the cold and I'm feeling the chill of the Cailleach. Interesting. Very interesting. 7 of Wands. So here's the Griffin. Tag team. Tag team trying to get access to this treasure. Could it be the Philosopher's Stone they're looking for here? There's 2 here that want to know how you're doing something you're doing. You could have some kind of gift. You could have some kind of knowledge that you're not sharing with others. They want to know what this is. There's a lot of aggression here that you do need to be aware of, though. There are certain cautions here, warnings here about heading into territory where one is not invited. And be aware of those that you know have been foes in the past, suddenly warming up what was at one point chilled over again can make one invisible. These intentions are hidden. I think that's why somebody is choosing to move alone here. There may be one here too that is starting to consider moving alone in regard to a certain matter, because they're sensing that somebody might have intentions that they're not aware of. This does look like wanting to gain possession of something that one does not have access to. And it does look like a spiritual matter. I want to know, has there been spiritual work in this situation? Is this what is creating some kind of complication? Has there been spiritual work done in this matter? Oh, I've got some stuff coming out here. Wow. Okay, the way that came out. 2 up here, and the 2 up here are like crossed like this. And they're kind of making contact with the Hermit right here. So I could see this in a couple ways. It depends on the nature of these cards, but I'm going to go ahead and speak to this right now because it's coming through. So I could see this as we got this like rogue wizard here, right? And they're kind of doing their own thing, and they're being very hush-hush about it. And they may seem to outsiders like they're in a disadvantaged position because this person moves alone. Yet there's others here that are dealing with complications and they don't understand. How are you not dealing with those complications? Because in some way, this person is not caught up in this same cycle as these others. And they're wanting to figure out, wait a minute, what's going on here? I don't understand. There's something here that's a bit of a mystery, okay? So I can see this as the hermit is keeping their plans quiet. They're not sharing their vision with others. I'm seeing like the Two of Swords here. And they're very much in this mutable process right now. There's something that they are purifying. There's something that they are integrating. They're stilling their waters. They're grokking the voice of the waters. It does have like that energy. It's interesting, right? Because we have Isa. I get it. Okay, so it feels like the energy of Lagos. Like the hermit is very much in the water way, moving intuitively, integrating emotionally, in a state of mutability, going through this transformation. They're in that cauldron of creation. And yet these others are in Isa. They're in the ice. They're in the standstill here. They're not getting it. They feel blocked. But I feel like also I think of this, and it does make me think of Gabo, gifts. There's gifts that are being nurtured here, and they want access to those treasures. So I'm curious what this is, and this card is right on this Chariot here. So let me check out this action here with the Hermit that's also connected to this Page of Wands, okay? The Griffin in reverse. Ooh, wait a minute. Look at that. The Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So this is somebody that used to be supporting the Page of Wands moving forward. Could even be a Virgo, I have to say. It could be. Just bring it in the signs. Don't get too attached to that, okay? Recognizing that in them playing this role, they're actually losing a treasure, and that they've been tricked into securing a treasure for another. And so now they're starting to dig a little deeper into this matter here. Okay, and they're right next to the Chariot here. So 9 and the 7, that's 16. That's Tower energy. So there is some kind of shocking illumination coming here. And it looks like whatever it is, it does transform this energy and gets it moving. How? The King of Wands in reverse. It foils their plans. It foils their plans. This is somebody who is prone to fly into a passionate rage because of their desire. And when they don't acquire what they desire, they can get ferocious. And they will destroy the happiness of others. They'll waste the beauty of virgins. So I think that whoever this is, they've become live to this. And they recognize maybe why they have been losing something of value to them. How they're sacrificing some treasure by supporting this movement forward. Whatever they're doing here, they're taking this King of Wands out of this position of power. But see, they're not in a rage about it right now because they don't know. That's what's concealed. So there's somebody here that is breaking from this pact. So that message comes in again. That came in last night. Justice. Oh, with the rebirth energy of the bat. Look at that. Libra energy tells how the angels felt, reveals the past, present, and future. This is going to bring about some kind of rebirth here. Four of Swords can make one appear like a soldier. So see, somebody's duping somebody here. This is somebody that's breaking from a group because they're starting to recognize what they've been supporting moving forward. And as this person pulled their energy away to get down to the roots of an issue, it's making them aware of what needs to be done to move forward. And in this, they will achieve justice because they're recognizing that there's some kind of corruption that's been occurring here. And they may have even at one point felt like they were doing the right thing, but they're recognizing it's a little bit of that fallen angel kind of energy here. And I feel like whoever they're breaking from here is not in a rage because they feel like this person is still working toward their desires with them, but they're not. It's like they're appearing like, yes, I'm like a soldier for you. I'm going to battle for you. I will help you with this. I'm on your team, but they're really not with the Four of Swords. They're really not. Ooh, this is interesting. Three of Swords steals treasures from kings. This is what they're planning on doing. Ooh, look at that. They want to feast on the stag. The vulture wants to feast on the stag. That's that stone of destiny energy. Steals treasure from kings, destroys cities and the dignities of men, tells of things past, present, and future, causes love between friends and foes. So this is a pretty crafty plan. This could be a dark wizard. This could be a dark wizard that's manipulating this King of Wands. So they'll fumble their treasure. 10 of Pentacles. Yes, on the bottom of the deck with that devilish character there. Yes, oh yes, I understand the tongues of the Pharaoh for sure. Uncovers treasures hidden by magicians. Reconciles friends and enemies. I think I got this hermit's number here. Hold on a minute. Is this hermit here? Is this hermit here a dark wizard? Is this hermit a dark wizard who's actually not realizing that they are about to encounter a face-off with the trickster? Oh my goodness. 9 of Pentacles. Causes any manner of music to be played, causes trees to bend at will, brings excellent familiars. No, this is an excellent familiar. They do come in with jaguar medicine. This person knows how to navigate the dark. This person is able to work with the elementals. They work with the trees. It's got like druid energy here. Druid energy. I don't know. I do pick up like this person navigates the darkness quite a bit though. They know how to navigate the dark. They might appear dark to others, like in the sense of operating in the dark, doing things behind the scenes. Their actions are veiled. They might feel like somebody that is doing something crafty that's causing loss for others. They may view it as you're stealing something from me. That might be what has this hermit isolated from a particular group. But I don't know about that. I think that they're recovering something here. And I think they do know how to work with the shadow. But I feel like they learned how to work with the shadow because of these energies that they've been dealing with here. Whoever this is, they're actually a valuable ally. Maybe they're coming into alignment with an ally. This person's very cunning. And they do have secret knowledge. And they have the ability to shape shift, take on different forms. Take on different forms, but here it is. I knew there was something here. And convince others that the change is real. I knew there was something there. I knew there was something there. Almost had me. Almost had me. Almost had me. Yeah, a little bit of a compromising character here. This one's very slippery. Very slippery. Maybe not who you would expect. Give me more details about this. About this dog wizard with some, it looks like some nefarious plans. Crossing energy, 8 of Swords. They're going to get caught up. This person wants to sink your battleships, let me tell you. And they do have some abilities here. They work with the seas and the winds. And it says they will spare life by request. Crossing energy. So it almost gives me the impression of, yes, somebody knows their stuff on one level, but I think they've like finally met their match. That's what it feels like, because they're underestimating somebody here. This 8 of Swords is in reverse, crossing. So they think they hold this kind of power. They think they can hold somebody up. They think that they can keep them caught up in their emotions, that they can sway them on that level, that they can cast a certain glamour over them, showing them, I've transformed, I'm changed, I'm a changed man, I'm a changed woman. Look at me, I'm a valiant knight coming to your rescue with this Knight of Cups energy. They want to stir love. They want to stir the passions. I'm feeling some blockage in the throat. I know I'm onto this. But the reality is, it's like they're coming in like they're a savior, but their desire is to get one caught up. Could even be to trade places, you know? How can I pin it on you in some way? But the change isn't real. But it's about to be. That's what I got. Because this person, in diving into this territory with whoever they are trying to reel in with this ruse, is more adept at navigating this territory than they anticipate. They view them as weak because whoever this is stands alone. And this person already has some kind of justice on their side, though. They know how the angels fell. They already have had past, present, future revealed to them. This person could be a seer. They have the sight. They have some vision that others can't see. But in stumbling into this territory, this kind of interloper energy that feels like they know more, maybe because they've had a good track record in the past, it's not going to work out quite the way they think. Again, it comes out like wanting to uncover treasure hidden by other magicians. They want something this hermit's got. That's what I see. And And they keep going at it again and again and again and again with the world in reverse on top of the Three of Swords to the Chariot. It's like saying if they keep going at it like this, they're just going to keep getting the Three of Swords again and again and again and again. And then they'll be held up at the crossroads. And there's no completion. And look, it is this like wizard sending in the griffin. They've already been injured and they're about to go through it again. Because they're trying to figure out how this lone, isolated alchemist is able to withstand everything that's been coming at him without losing the light that they hold. Because it's that light that they hold that is the way shower. It's what's navigating the darkness. And I feel like these characters here are just sort of trying to like fumble around because they went into a territory uninvited. But they're there now. So they're dancing with the trickster and they may not realize it, but they're about to go through an initiation. And so I feel like there's two here, and one is kind of like the sacred clown in this situation. They don't realize it yet. You know, they think they're playing tricks, but the tricks are being played on them. And they're doing this unbeknownst to them, subconsciously, so they can go through a transformation through getting tripped up. And once you spot a certain pattern so many times, you start to recognize, oh, wait a minute, am I generating that? That's what this is. Am I generating that? Interesting. Yeah, they want this treasure. Somebody here is very unique. They seem like the last unicorn. How do you do what you do? How are you able to move forward like that? How are you able to spring the lock on what was supposed to trap you? How do you have us dancing to your tune? How do you get those trees to bend to withstand the storms we send your way? Somebody does want to get closer to this person. And I feel like there's like a little bit of a cautionary tale here. It's like they want to get closer to this person. I mean, this person could be you. They want to get closer to this person because they feel like they'd be an excellent familiar, like you and me teamed together. We could take the world. But there's a little bit of a character flaw here where there's already been crossing of boundary lines and wanting to take without the acquisition of the wisdom needed to hold what they want to take here. And because of that, there's an initiatory process going on here that's underway. And if they did not go through the initiation they're about to go through when they start to head in this direction, they would betray this desired connection because they would want the worldly acquisition of that power all for themselves. It shows very clearly that the change would not be permanent. In other words, once the bond was established, there would be the betrayal. There would be the betrayal because they would want to feast on the destiny all for themselves. It's like a vulture kind of energy. But ironically, because they're heading into that territory, they're bringing about their own redemption story here. And when we look at vulture medicine is rebirth. Interesting. Very interesting. Let me do a cut the deck here. Six of Pentacles. It's here, the name Amy, so I'm just going to bring it in. reveals hidden treasure and brings excellent familiars. Might be looking into your chart. Judgment. Here comes Apophis. Interesting. It looks like there's somebody here that is getting justice, though. Justice in averting this. Nobody's going to steal this sun. It looks like they're getting some kind of promotion. Spirits coming in, giving a promotion. Somebody's getting a leg up here. They got help. Yeah, in some not so high places too, I'm hearing. Oh yeah, well, I mean, that did come through, discernment. They know how to move through the dark. I mean, they must have built up some kind of, recognition there, I'd say, is the best way to put it. If you've navigated the darkness long enough and you've been able to find the way through and you're still able to come through that darkness and hold your light, not lose your light, eventually you do find that you become like that liminal space in between the shadow and light, and both sides will work harmoniously with you. But it does look like there's favor on both sides here. And this is somebody having something balanced out for them. And it's revealing a treasure for them, maybe that's been hidden all along. Could be coming in with some assistance. Amy could be the name of somebody who's providing some legit assistance here. It looks like getting freed from a Chinese finger trap. So maybe while two people are pointing the finger at each other and arguing with each other about injury, one slips away. This is interesting. But there's almost like a decoy here first. And I think that's what needs to be deciphered. Because I do feel like there's two here, right? Teamed up moving forward. And maybe there's a third here that's like, I don't know, you could be the third. You could be the third that they're approaching. You could be this hermit. But only one of these people is a fit ally. The other will turncoat on you. That's what I see here. So you have to be very mindful about navigating this. Ooh, the crone always brings in some really challenging territory. It really tests your mettle. Like, do you really have the sight? Have you really gained wisdom from your trials? Tell me, Cailleach, what is to be gained? What is to be gained? What is a treasure if one passes this test? This feels like an initiatory test. And it requires being very still when one is so compelled to take action. Because there's something that's seen in that space of unknowing that really highlights what needs to be transformed, what's been undermining something. So there could be a strong desire to act, especially if there's some kind of promise of quick promotion too. I could see that, like some great reward. This is very interesting energy, just reading it, you know. It's shape-shifting as I'm reading it. So that's this energy we're moving through here. I got sentience around that. Yeah, I'm familiar with this kind of energy. Two of Swords, see? Yeah, Two of Swords, like no. Don't try to play that. It will stab you in the foot here. It's like, I feel this is like the Cailleach saying, stop. Somebody is considering taking an action. This could be somebody that is wanting to approach you. Somebody is wanting to take an action and they need to stop, like immediately. Something's going to happen that is going to have them at a standstill with this. Because it's almost got the impression of if they want a battle, they will find it. But the battle they're going to find is not with who they think they're going to find it with. It comes home to roost because they're going to be battling with this trickster energy. This is a spiritual matter. The Cailleach can help you negotiate with the spirit realm to squash something, you could say, where there's been disharmony or like a repeat cycle here. And so when you're a wanderer in unfamiliar territory, you have to be hospitable to the customs of the land. You can't sort of go in there taking over the territory like you know how to take that field, because you're moving into territory where you do not know the customs. That's what it looks like. It will be blocked. It will be blocked, and that truth will really come home to roost. And when it does, it will hurt. 2 of Swords, and then there's 1 sword here. It's the repeat of the cycle. Do you see the world in reverse? 3 of Swords. On top of that, Chariot. So the test is coming again. And because the world is in reverse here, I know that this has been attempted repeatedly. Repeatedly, this has been attempted. And it keeps creating the same scenario. It's been a very fixed matter. Interesting. Okay. What will be the outcome for the collective? I'm getting the impression, collective, that you're the Hermit here. 2 of Pentacles, yeah, shapeshifter energy. Shapeshifter energy reconciles friends and enemies. Yeah, you got to be aware. You got to be aware. I think it's really saying, stay the course. Move in stillness. There's a way to do that. Move in stillness. That's the riddle. Move in stillness. How can you move in stillness? Hierophant. How can you move in stillness? Because I feel like if you can figure out how to move in stillness, you're not going to get hooked up with this at all. You master this once and for all. See? You firmly grasp these 3 in your hand. And there's something here that you finally are able to uproot that's been very much grounded into your storyline for too long here. I do feel like where others are moving in this direction, and they may be moving in this direction to try to pull off something a little sneaky. Ironically, I feel like they get free at the end too. And there's some kind of, it's weird, but it feels like there's some kind of admiration. Even though there was initially like this adversarial kind of energy, there's an admiration there. Cut the deck. 6 of Swords. Travels the world over in an instant and brings anything anywhere. Gives the truth about thefts and hidden treasures. Willing to do anything one commands. Move in the stillness. How do you move in the stillness? Seer. This is what you are going to learn how to do. This is your Six of Swords that gets you out of trouble without you having to carry any of that forward with you. You see, you got your horsepower here. Pegasus energy as well. Interesting. Queen of Pentacles. Makes one wise. Activates the teacher. Turns any metal into gold and transmutes water into wine. So see, this is gaining that Ace of Pentacles. This is how you gain the treasure that you lost. You have to resolve this riddle. How do you move in stillness? This will transport you where you want to be in the blink of an eye. But you have some energies hot on your tail, man. But I feel like you'll pull this off. Taurus energy. And it could even be there's a Taurus here that may have viewed you at one point as an opponent, and now there's some kind of admiration. It's interesting the way that's coming through. I also feel it's about finding within oneself what perhaps was looked for in another, and understanding how the connection and the challenges within that connection served that purpose that required one to move into that territory where they end up finding it within themselves. So somebody here is really about to come into possession of some alchemical abilities that they did not have before. They're going to learn how to move in stillness. And there's some kind of treasure that they are retrieving here, and it's bringing a radical transformation in their life. It's also bringing some kind of alignment here, okay? But only after this matter is addressed. This has to be closed first. So there's 3 here. There's 3 here. 2 are not coming forward with this one. And there's somebody else here that it looks like 2 are approaching that are trying to cut off this meeting at the pass. That's what I got. And you're going to have to be very wise, collective, because it's a test of your mettle. Who do you team with? I don't know. But you're going to have to learn how to move in stillness to figure this out. Let's get an overarching theme here with the Halloween Oracle to cap this off. Joy. Rejoicing in the present. So something beautiful is happening here and what is falling away. There's some kind of joy that is coming in. That's the basis of this matter. And I do feel like there's some kind of joy. Something that's viewed as a treasure, as the acquisition of a wish. There's some kind of joy that's wanting to be reclaimed in the present. And that's the basis of what's happening here. What is going on with this? Cailleach, what is going on with this? What wisdom do you have to share with us to help guide us as this new land forms before us, as we walk with you into the cold, as we walk with you into the dark, as we move out of this cross-quarter point and head ever closer to the time when the darkness does prevail and we only have our senses, our otherworldly senses, to see our way through, to navigate that territory. What guidance do you have for us at this time? Dive right into it. Go into the underworld with no fear. There's no need to have fear about what is coming to a close here. There's no need to have fear about laying something to rest, about allowing old dreams to wither on the vine, about allowing yourself to discard old forms of yourself that at one point served their purpose, but now have become too restricting, confining. Do not have fear about entering this doorway of initiation. It ripens with the full moon. There's so much on the other side. You are dealing with an energy that does want to siphon something from you. Here's that vampire again. You need to exercise emotional intelligence. It landed right on top of this hermit. You may have faced off with this energy in the past. It overcame you. And that became the source of your strength. But there's something about your new form. They have not had quite the access that they did in the past. So I feel like this is trying to be even more crafty, approaching this in a more subversive way. It could even be with flattery. You bested me back there. I have so much respect for you. Remember, this person does know how to manipulate. And there is a need for you perhaps to remember the roots of a situation as well. So this doesn't happen again, that you are being put to a test. It looks like a test that if you pass this test, you reclaim a treasure. There's fulfillment here. And you'll be transported into that new sort of dream-like reality instantaneously. It can transport you without you having to move a muscle. You're going to learn how to do that, you see. But it requires you recognizing your strength and the power that you hold, and perhaps harmonizing something with the bloodline, with your ancestral bloodline. And that's why the Cailleach are here to help you with that, to assist you with this spiritual matter, so it can be resolved once and for all, that you have the strength to overcome this. You do. You do. So this is something that has deep roots in the past. You have the strength to face this. Have no fear. You have the strength to face this. You've exercised emotional intelligence. This has been balanced out. And at the time I'm filming this, it is officially Dias de los Muertos. And look at this. Acceptance and equality. Something is truly balanced out. This is like a celebration of what is being released. There's an unnecessary fear here. And I think that's what's needed to be seen in order to transport one from this standstill place. There's something you're fearing that you don't need to fear anymore. It's been balanced out. You had emotional intelligence in dealing with a particularly crafty character here. Don't use that truth you arrived at to stab yourself in the foot. Cut of the deck. You have the strength. And you have the strength of intuition. So where you made a judgment call, Don't doubt it now. Because these flames are lit. There are two that can see. There are two that are gaining their light, and they see the way through because they've minded the bones of the past. And this is what is securing their Ace of Pentacles. Trust the strength of vision that's coming in for you now.